What's a good family of mine? Here we have a transmission. Do you know that? That's transmission right there. Here we have a Dq500, which is going to be getting a what is that? A wave track diff. I can say the name on it. So yeah, all the videos on the YouTubes all have are in Russian. So hopefully this can help out some of us Americans. But for now, I need to clean up a lot of room here because these generally make a huge mess and you require a lot of room. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the F up right now. Fucking heavy. That's gonna be tough.
What does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000!
Alright, I'm gonna start by taking the Matco cover off and then I'm gonna drain the fluid. So this is how your stock diff is here once you get it out. So I ended up taking this case, splitting it in the middle here, and then usually on the Dq500s it's the other way around. So originally I was trying to get the gears to stay in there, but just getting it past the detents and everything inside here it just wasn't working out. So that's just how you do this one. I guess, I don't know. This is what controls the shifting right here. These things is where these are the shifters here. If you can make that out, but these are just like the 250. It's the same. It's generally the same thing. You got your shifters here, and then go ahead and make sure that you don't have two locked up at one time. You can see that where the detents go, and you should have your gears spin freely. For the well, it's not sideways, so it doesn't really spin too easy. The gears spin much easier when you have it on its side, because it's kind of got all its forces pushing down on each other. You can see the detents inside here. Get a light. Let's see if you can make that out. You can see the detent ball, right? Yeah, it's down there. It's really hard to make out and capture with this. Just go ahead and make sure that all your shifters, you can see there's a detent. Capture that. You can see there's a detent on all the shifter linkage that ride, so they all line up with the center of the shift linkage. So just go ahead and make sure that all of them are in neutral before you throw it together. There it goes. So you should have all your gears should spin pretty freely for the most part. You shouldn't have any shifter, or I guess shift linkage, shifter arm, shifter, can't think of the names, engaged. So just make sure that they're all neutral. That's neutral, that's neutral. You can see that that one down there and that one down there are all in neutral, and when they're all in neutral, these will all be in the middle, these magnets. So those are in the middle, so then you know all of yours are in the middle. And so your diff comes like this. All right, day 2 for me. So I'm cleaning up the case right now to put it back together. Found the torque spec for these is 118 foot-pounds, and it says blue Loctite. That's what I found on WaveTrack's website. So yeah, as much as it is, as much as you want to use one of these or some sort of bzzz, don't. Save yourself. Just go ahead and do not do that. So what I've been doing is I took this green Scotch-Brite pad, and I just take the excess. Is like all this that's actually, like, I don't know who was working that day at the factory, but they went real crazy with this stuff, and I just go ahead and I just pull it off. So it looks neater, because you're gonna have some squish out on yours too. So it helps to get us, see, like all this hanging off here, and it just go ahead and just give it a good. So if you try to use your hands, it's just gonna just cut the crap out of you. And just be super mindful. See, like this piece that fell in there, and it comes off super easy. So even when you're handling the transmission, you might just knock a piece in there. So just go ahead and go through. See, this one's about to fall in. I haven't even touched that one, so I just go ahead and get a pick or something and pick it off and get as much as you can of it out of here. The fluid will catch most of it, but like I said, don't be using a buzzy wheel on it, as they say, because you're going to have tons of particles in your transmission. Let's see. So, okay, I got, show you, so I got the diff and I pressed on this bearing. So what I did is I got those claw style pullers, and it's not quite, it can't really get under this lip here. Because it rams into the bearing and it pushed on this. I didn't like that. So what I did was I grabbed the hammer and not a screwdriver, but a bronze punch, and then I just gave on the stock one. I just started tapping it around, and then I got a big enough gap that I could slide that tool in there, and then, you know, without damaging the bearing the bearing. So it doesn't take much to get these loose. So like I said, I just got a a brass punch, a pretty long one that was tapered off, and I just gave it a few taps and go around it, and you can actually get it off fully that way if you want to spend a lot of time. But I got enough to fit the tool in there, and then I just used the press and pushed down on the old one, and then it came out. So now let's go ahead and I'm gonna put the ring gear on. Grab your little disc that's on the old one, throw it on there, and then there's your bearing. You don't have to take this one off because I'm so used to the Dq500s and the manuals, which you have to chisel off, which sucks. So yeah, just go ahead and stick it on there. I didn't get any new hardware with mine, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw some blue Loctite on these after I clean the threads off, because they got a bunch of stuff on them. So I'm gonna clean the threads off, put some Loctite on them, and torque them down to 118 foot-pounds. So what I'm doing now is there's a plastic tube right here to keep the gears cold or lubricated or whatever, cooling, and I just need to get it to line up to the top. I have to take something right here to get some pressure off of it. I'm just kind of pushing on it, so I can't really move it with my finger. Nothing. Tube in here. Got one for the set of supporters on it. So what I'm doing is just trying to. Well, I'm looking at the mirror in there, and I'm just trying to line it up with inside here. A hole so you don't bust it off. But it's kind of heavy. Hey, hold on, husband. grab your neck unit, lube up these two here, and just stick her in. Plus a 90, so I'm just gonna go ahead and 5 Newton meters is nothing. I forgot my tiny torque wrench at work. Just go ahead and snug them all up a little bit. Pull this out a little bit. So just go ahead and, until it clicks out, throw your clip back on. Right here, so put it towards facing the tranny, lock her in, so you can turn it to unlock right there, and then just set it straight. I got that on, those are tight, he gave me his cover. whatever pushed out this seal on this. It must have been metal. So you have usually there's a cone that goes here. So you just gotta be just like the rear main seals with the lip. So you can't just go ahead and jam it on, or else you're gonna fold your lip over. Just make sure that when you have the clutches on, that you still have that play. So you pull it a little bit with your fingers and it'll like clunk a little bit. If you have no play in there, it's not seated right. So what I had to do a bunch of times is the center drum underneath there's a plastic ring, and I had to reseat that a few times because for whatever reason when I slid it in, it must have just enough to come apart to come unseated. So when I pushed the clutches all the way on, the clutch packs, the drum, it wasn't seating right. It just never felt right. And then what the heck happened here? So you just got to make sure when you get it on there, it's a nice solid click and it gets on there, and then when you hold, after you get the snap ring on in the middle, that it has some movement, like a pretty good amount, like toop, toop, like, I don't know, maybe toop, toop, hit that much, toop, toop. So yeah, because I just fought that for a while because I was like, I know I got it on right, but inside the middle drum there's a plastic ring that I guess for whatever reason when I tilted it, I was holding it together, but maybe it was pushing back and it just kept coming unseated. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The mech unit, don't forget your tubes. That's different. I've done a Dq500. It has less bolts holding the mech unit on. And I'm not very enthusiastic. Sorry guys. Sorry everybody. All right, peace out.